Hey everybody, it's Rory from A&S Gear, and we're looking at a brand new frame from Inception Designs today. This is the 45-degree rip frame from Inception. So what this is it a replacement frame, complete frame for your autococker style gun, whether that be a, you could put it on a pump gun, you could put it on a non-pump gun, but it's very specific on the style, or the body, I should say, that you're putting it on. The one I have here is for an Inception style setup or a WGP style setup. This will not work for an Empire style, like a Resurrection, or if you were converting over a sniper for some reason, you wouldn't want to use this one. You need to get the Empire version for that. And it really comes down to where the actuator rod that comes off the three-way, its height placement is. It's slightly different between the two guns. So you want to make sure you're picking up the right frame for that. So on this particular one, which like I said is an Inception or WGP frame, where the, I guess I don't need to turn it around because my camera's above me. So where the three-way rod comes through, would be on the right side right here. So your three-way would be up here on your marker, and where it comes through and attaches to the trigger right here, the spacing, the height is different between the two frames. So on one of them it's a little bit higher, and on one of them it's a little lower. So if you use the wrong frame for your body setup, your actuator rod will be at an angle and it will cause problems. So make sure you're picking up the right one. Now what makes this trigger frame unique is that it is a two-finger hinge style trigger, but it is not, it still works as a slide frame, if that makes sense. So typically on a gun like this, if you had a hinge frame, when you pulled the trigger back on a normal hinge frame on a cocker, your three-way and your actuator rod would move forward because the trigger pivots like this, right? So the top of the trigger pivots forward, pushes the actuator rod forward, and you would need to have your hosing set up a certain way to accommodate that. Well, this particular trigger, when you pull it back, the back of the trigger pushes against a slide and it slides it backwards. So the action is still the same. It pulls the actuator rod backwards rather than pushing it forward like a traditional slide. And let me just show you real quick how that is by just pulling the trigger out. So I'm going to pull the trigger out and pull the pin out right there, and I can pull the trigger forward, and you can see that it's a very simple trigger. But if I remove the trigger and I put just this Allen key in here and I slide it backwards, you can see that it is activating the sear. You can see the sear dropping down right there. So the way the frame internally works is the same as a single trigger slide frame or slide plate, but you're getting the benefit of the two-finger trigger in a faux hinge style. I mean, the trigger is still on a hinge and it pivots on a hinge right there, but the plate moving on the inside is a single trigger slide, or just a slide right there. So you still got the two-finger, you can shoot it however you want. You're not going to be doing any of this stuff or anything like that. You're just going to be shooting it normal, but you can use two fingers, but you're still getting the same action. So no need to switch your hosing around. You still get that smooth transition of the slide right there, which everybody loves. So that's what the difference is right here on the rip frame. A hinge look, two-finger hinge look, but still the functionality of a slide frame, which makes it easier and makes it more comfortable for some people. So check it out. Make sure you pick up the right style frame though, depending on the brand body frame you have, so that it lines up properly. But the new rip frame from Inception, get it at ansgear.com.